Good evening. Please come on in, find a seat. Welcome to the Foreign Correspondent Club of Thailand. My name is Phil Robertson, and I'm a board member here and also the chair of the program committee. And I'll be your moderator here tonight for this important event to talk about the situation of the Uyghurs. However, before I introduce some of the panelists and we get going in the program, I want to tell you some of the things that are coming up at the FCCT over the next couple days. Tomorrow, the 27th of March, we're going to have the Burma Peacock Film Festival, which is brought again this year by the Democratic Voice of Burma media outlet from Myanmar. They're going to be showing 5 short films, which is films from the front lines of what is happening in Myanmar. It's going to be a real fascinating look at the war going on next door, looking at films from Sagaing, which is one of the most turbulent areas in Myanmar, the situation in Loy Kaw, which is the capital of Karenni State, looking at military bombardments, work of volunteers helping out with the Karen areas. Really fascinating. And then we'll also have a panel. So that is happening tomorrow at 6:30 here at the FCCT. So if you want to come and see some amazing films from Burmese filmmakers, tomorrow is your time to do it. Next Wednesday, on the 2nd of April, we're going to have a panel on the Trump shutdown of Voice of America and Radio Free Asia, and what people have been terming in Washington as Bloody Saturday. The Trump administration ordered the U.S. Agency for Global Media to cut off funds to the Voice of America, Radio Free Asia, and other U.S.-supported media. That happened on March 15th. I should also note that Radio Free Asia also has a Uyghur language service. It's the only international radio that has a Uyghur language service, and that is now off the air because of those cuts. This has had a massive impact on journalists working for those outlets, but also coverage and audiences with, who are going to lose access to difficult to find news stories. Radio Free Asia, of course, broadcasts across a number of authoritarian states, including China, North Korea, Vietnam, Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia, but also Voice of America broadcasts around the world. And so this is a major blow for independent media and media freedom. And there'll be discussion by some senior people from Voice of America, including Steve Herman, the national correspondent the chief national correspondent of VOA, as well as senior people from Radio Free Asia, and hopefully some media freedom organizations as well. So that's next Wednesday the 2nd. Today we're going to be talking about the Uyghurs. As many of you who are following the news know, a delegation of Thai officials in local media visited northwest China's Xinjiang autonomous region between March 19th and 21st. This was a bid by the Thai government to try to calm concerns about possible mistreatment of the group of 40 Uyghurs who were forcibly returned from Thailand after being held in what were very bad conditions for over 11 years in Thai immigration detention facilities. And that deportation of the Uyghurs has drawn strong rebukes from Washington, from the EU, which had a parliamentary resolution at the European Parliament, and other countries as well, of course, as human rights and others. And Thailand insists that this deportation was mindful and lawful and was something that was aligned to humanitarian concerns. We invited all the major Thai government agencies that were involved with this forced return of the Uyghurs. We invited them to come here to share their side of the story. All of them declined to come, which I think is a telling commentary in some ways about what we're going to talk about tonight. So tonight we're going to hear from a distinguished panel. We have a number of people online, but First, we're going to hear a video message from Rushan Abbas, who's the head of the World Uyghur Congress. Then we're going to hear from Abdul Hakim Idris, who's the executive director of the Center of Uyghur Studies in Washington, D.C. He'll be followed by Andrian Zenz, who's a senior fellow and director of China Studies at the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. And then we'll hear from Sunai Pasok, who's a senior researcher on Thailand for Human Rights Watch, and Talita Tajuransuk, who's the chairperson of the People's Empowerment Foundation, also based here in Bangkok. So I should also mention that tomorrow at the Southern Criminal Court in Bangkok, there is going to be a hearing that's going to be taking place in room 505 starting at 9 a.m. And this is actually a case that was brought by a lawyer before the 40 were sent back, claiming that their detention was illegal and they should be released. It'll be interesting to see what the court's going to do now that these 40 have been sent out of the country against their will. But that will be happening tomorrow at the Southern Bangkok Criminal Court starting at 9 a.m. So without further ado, let's see the video from Rushan Abbas, and then we'll move to the speakers. So, Tam, if you don't mind.
Dear distinguished guests and allies, good evening. Thank you so much for listening to us as we expose the brutal reality faced by the Uyghur people who continue to suffer an ongoing full-fledged genocide at the hands of the Chinese Communist Party, once again marking a dark stain on Thailand's government. On February 27, 25, Thailand forcibly deported 40 Uyghur refugees to China after 11 years of inhumane detention, delivering them back into the hands of their persecutors. Thailand claimed their return was voluntarily. That is a blatant lie. In January, when the threats of deportation first surfaced, I traveled to Thailand to prevent this tragedy. These men reached out to me and the international community to stop their deportation, sending messages, writing letters, and even enduring a 17-day hunger strike in a desperate bid for survival. They are ordinary people like you and me, longing for freedom from oppression. Their only crime was being Uyghur in a world that has turned its back on them. Despite at least 3 countries offering these refugees resettlement, Thailand proceeded with their deportation. The Chinese government denied their plan to the public and the Uyghur refugees, and claimed that no country was willing to accept them, kowtowing to China's pressure. Now, in an obvious attempt to cover up its complicity, Thai officials visited the Uyghur region within a tightly controlled, scripted propaganda tour. During the visit, even the journalists who were handpicked by the Thai government were not free from CCP censorship. Chinese officials monitored their every move, vetted their photos, and deleted anything that deemed unfit for public view. Every word, every image was scripted and approved by the CCP, but no amount of propaganda can whitewash their crimes. These 40 men have been sent into a machinery of mass detention, torture, and forced labor that defines China's genocidal campaign. 10 years ago, 109 Uyghurs were forcibly deported from Thailand to China, blindfolded and shackled, never to be seen again. Recently, we discovered that 20 Uyghurs deported from Cambodia in 2009 faced torture, forced labor, and life sentences. For repatriated Uyghurs, this is a documented reality, not speculation. Many of these families of these 40 men were resettled in Turkey. Now their wives are left alone, and their children have grown up without fathers. This tragedy is deeply personal to me. I know the pain of losing a loved one to China's brutal oppression. My sister Gulshan Abbas, a retired medical doctor and a peaceful, law-abiding citizen, was abducted by the Chinese government in September 2018 as a retaliation for my advocacy in America as a U.S. citizen. At first, the Chinese government denied her existence, accusing me of lying about her disappearance and stealing others' photos. Then, in 2020, the same government shamelessly admitted she had been sentenced to 20 years in prison on fabricated charges. For the past almost 80 months, 6.5 years, more than 6.5 years, we don't know what she's enduring in the dark dungeon. Is she being tortured in jail, forced into labor, or worse? The agony of not knowing is a pain shared by thousands in the Uyghur diaspora, waking up every day wondering about the fate of their loved ones. The case of my sister and the deported Uyghurs are part of China's transnational repression of a relentless campaign to silence, control, and oppress Uyghurs wherever we are. The international community must hold Thailand accountable for violating international law and China for its ongoing genocide. Governments like Thailand that bow to China's pressure must face consequences. The world must demand an immediate halt to the deportation of Uyghurs or risk rendering human rights declaration and the treaties meaningless. We stand at the turning point. Will the world continue to let China manipulate international order while Uyghurs are persecuted? Or will we defend the values we hold dear? The choice is ours. It's time to stand on the right side of the history. Thank you.
Okay, get the lights on, please. Thanks. Okay, very heartfelt statement. Next, we're going to turn. To Abdul Hakim Idris, who is the executive director of the Center for Uyghur Studies in Washington, D.C. He's joining us online via Zoom. So, Abdul Hakim, please give us your statement.
Thank you to the organizer for this crucial press conference. Your efforts to expose the Uyghur crisis and defend human dignity are vital. Today, we are united not only in sorrow, but confront the consequence of undermining the human rights. We are gathered here today to raise our voice against the deeply troubling development, the deportation of 40 Uyghur refugees from Thailand to China. After spending more than a decade in detention under dire conditions in Thailand, these Uyghurs have now been sent in another nightmare in the hands of the very regime they fled. They were just not deported, they were delivered into the hands of the very regime they risked everything to escape. This is not merely a bureaucratic decision, it's complicity in state-led persecution and the betrayal of the most sacred principle of the international human rights law. This deportation is not an isolated incident. It's a part of much larger systematic campaign by the Chinese Communist government to suppress, punish, and persecute the Uyghur people. These 40 individuals are now likely trapped in brutal network of detention centers, prison camps, or worse. Many will face integration, torture, forced labor, forced a renunciation they face, some may never be heard from again. The Thai government's action violate the principle of non-refoulement, a cornerstone of international refugee protection. No state should send someone to a place of torture and persecution. Yet, Thailand has done so again. Thailand has become a tool for the CCP to cover up the ongoing Uyghur genocide. Let us not forget the human hunting precedent. In 2014, Thailand deported 109 Uyghur refugees to China. And a decade later, their fate remains unknown. They vanished in the Chinese detention system, a system designed to erase Uyghur identity, culture, and the face. To this day, we don't know where they are or what happened to them. In my homeland, China has created an unprecedented digital surveillance state. AI system tracked Uyghurs 24/7 with cameras in homes and spy apps on phones. Uyghurs are arrested for owning a Quran, praying, or contacting family abroad. Families are harassed, detained, and punished simply for having relatives abroad. These Chinese social credit system discriminate, categorize the Uyghurs, punishing those deemed untrustworthy with the restriction on movement, work, and more. I am also a victim of these atrocities. The Chinese government took my family, my brother, my sisters, their husbands, and my nieces. Some were sent to the concentration camp and the others to prisons. I have not been able to connect with my mother for over 7 years. She is in her late 70s. In August 2023, I received news of my father's passing 8 months after he died. I'm not alone in this suffering. The entire Uyghur diaspora faced the same fate as I do. This is not just my tragedy. It's the tragedy of my people. In this context, the recent visit by Thai officials and journalists to check on the deported Uyghurs raised serious concerns. The visit was heavily censored, tightly controlled, and lacked transparency. Only 5 individuals were shown in Yarkand County. Yet the majority of deported Uyghurs were originally from Kargalik and Hotan. Why weren't these individuals visited? What do the authorities have to hide? China claimed these Uyghurs will undergo re-education. We know what that means. Indefinite detention, political indoctrination, forced confession, and in many cases, torture and abuse. It means strip the people of their beliefs, their memories, and their dignity. We must remember that China never honors international agreements, never respects diplomatic promises, and never tells the truth when it comes to its treatment of the Uyghurs. At this moment, we must demand that Chinese government must provide clear, independent, and reliable proof of the safety and the well-being of the 40 deported Uyghurs, as well as the 109 deported a decade ago. We call on the international community to take real action, not just make a statement, to hold China accountable. Thailand and all nations must uphold international law, especially the principle of non-refoulement. No refugee should face persecution. We demand that government, NGOs, journalists, and the citizens worldwide reject China's lie and hold China accountable. We call all of you to continue reporting relentlessly, uncover the truth behind this tragedy. We need more independent and reliable journalists to speak out, write, investigate, and demand that your governments take action. This is the defiant test of our generation. Will we stand against the genocide, or we will turn away once again? We call on every government to protect the refugees, halt deportation to China, and hold Beijing accountable for its heinous crimes. We urge the public to remain vigilant, raise their voices and amplify the voice of those who cannot longer speak up for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that statement. Thank you for your perspectives. Please do stay online because we're going to have a question and answer after all the speakers have made their presentations. Next, we're going to hear from Adrian Zenz. Adrian is a senior fellow and director in China Studies at the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation in Washington, D.C. Adrian, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me for this event. Of course, all of us were very shocked when Thailand decided to return the Uyghurs to Xinjiang, to China. Now, we all know it's very easy for the Chinese government to put on a facade to tour, the Uyghurs, to sort of make it seem as if everything is fine. On the other hand, it's also easy for us to make claims, right? We can say the Uyghurs are in danger, and of course they are. We know about the atrocities. We know about mass internment, mass forced labor. We know about sterilization, etc. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to present you empirical evidence, detailed empirical evidence from internal police files, the so-called Xinjiang police files that were obtained by hacking into police computers. These files were published with a consortium of 14 media outlets in 2022. But we did not publish all the files. There are files remain that have not been published yet. And so today I will present you some very detailed evidence from unpublished files, specifically about Thailand. And these files, they will say what the Xinjiang government says about the threat perception of the Uyghurs who are returned to China from Thailand. They will demonstrate that Uyghurs who return from Thailand, and this is not the 40, these are Uyghurs who have separately traveled as tourists, for example, or for business, independently of this particular group of Uyghurs, that they were detained for So we have independent empirical evidence of the situation. And finally, I will give you evidence from recent statements from 2024 about what the Xinjiang government continues to say about the threat perception of persons from abroad and the situation abroad. And just for the media here, I'll be happy to make these internal police files available to you for publication after my presentation, okay? If for some reason my slides are not clear, a copy has been provided also of my PowerPoint locally to the organizers. All right, so I'll be sharing my screen now. You should be able to see now my PowerPoint. Okay.
Yep, we can see it, yep.
Good. So what you're seeing here is you see a file called the Special Investigation Work Plan for the 4 categories of focus persons by Shufu, Kauntu, Shufu, and Kashgar from February 2016. This is the first internal document from the Xinjiang police files that has not been published to this point. It talks about 4 types of so-called focus persons. And now focus persons are persons that the government is particularly concerned about. They warrant particular police monitoring, and focus persons are singled out particularly for detention and re-education in the re-education camps. So this document instructs the police in Xinjiang, specifically in southern Xinjiang, to investigate the persons and the relatives of 4 types of persons. Now, firstly, you see it's individuals who traveled abroad to participate in so-called international terrorist organizations. And by this, the Xinjiang government refers to kind of any diaspora Uyghur organization. So you see the World Uyghur Congress there, but also they categorize this in the same category as the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda. Secondly, individuals who illegally exit the country. And of course, the Uyghurs who were returned to Thailand, returned from Thailand to Xinjiang fall into that category. But even individuals holding valid passports, you see under item 3, who travel privately to high-risk sensitive countries. And you see listed among them Thailand, Thailand. And fourthly, individuals whose whereabouts are unknown. Each police station and police office must meticulously compile and summarize the data and information about these focus persons, and then it goes into detail of how the police also has to assess the relatives, the social relationships of them, and assign risk levels. So you see that especially singled out are not just people who illegally left the country, but those who privately on legal passports, valid passports, traveled to what the government has classified as high-risk countries, including Thailand. So these people are under a special, warrant special police attention. Okay. In a second document, also from another region in Tekes in E Prefecture in Xinjiang, also part of the Xinjiang police files, from December 2016, this document formally confirms it's about preventing the return of groups that are related to threats perceived as a threat to public security, violence, and terrorism. And this is not just actual terrorists, but there's a general perception that people who go to these countries have a risk of terrorism and therefore need to be preemptively detained for re-education. And it says that 5 countries are added to the list, bringing it to a total of 26 countries and regions designated as terrorism-related key countries or focus countries. And Thailand is one of them. You also see Malaysia and Indonesia, Russia, and the UAE on this list. Now, an internal speech, Chen Chuan-guo, formerly party secretary of Xinjiang, said in an internal speech in May 2017 about those returning from abroad. Therefore, for those returning from abroad to Xinjiang or to China, and this refers to Uyghurs, catch or detain whoever returns, detain whoever's caught, imprison whoever's detained, let no one slip through. For those whose circumstances are unclear, perform re-education, that's political re-education, brainwashing in camps, but they must not be released. And a little further down he says, all persons returning from abroad must first be handcuffed, then have a hood placed over their face. So there's a very strong threat perception that those who have traveled to certain countries have been exposed to religious extremism or negative thoughts about the Chinese Communist Party, and therefore they are a threat. Now, how real is this? This is a very confidential internal file from May 2017 from the Shufu County and Kashgar Prefecture Public Security Bureau that outlines plans to detain Uyghurs. And this contains one section, this document, this police document, that says each police station must thoroughly investigate all individuals entering and exiting sensitive countries. They're subject to review and screening. Arrest them first, then investigate. Detain all who should be detained. And of course, this corresponds to what you saw before, what Chen Chuan-guo, the party secretary, the leader of Xinjiang, said them. He said they must all be quickly arrested, right? So arrest them first, then investigate. All relevant information must be entered into that's the digital surveillance database, the integrated joint operation platform. Based on the screening result, implement measures such as detention, re-education, and routine visits. Okay, I have to keep moving here for the reason of time. Now, this is an internal police spreadsheet called Persons Who Return from the 26 Sensitive Countries. And this is for one particular township. And this, I am only showing part of the spreadsheet. And this shows in red, you see Thailand, means Thailand, okay? And you see everybody from Thailand is in the red over on the right-hand side says Jiaozhuan means re-education, and Shi means yes. So all 4 people, all 4 Uyghurs, and it says some of their passport numbers, and all of their ID numbers, names, and addresses, all 4 Uyghurs who returned from Thailand, who traveled there, were detained for re-education. Okay? Now, let me give you one particular case. This is Emetjan Rodze. He's in an internal police spreadsheet in the 2017 list of detained persons in Shufu County, Kashgar. He was arrested, it says, on March 24th, 2017. Another file says he was arrested on March 23rd, so it's approximate. It says the arrest reason, why was he arrested? Chien Wang Taigor, meaning he went to Thailand. That's the reason for his arrest. What's his status? Jiaoyu Zhuanhua, means he is in re-education, in a re-education camp. Now, if we have also more detailed information, there is the public security screening opinion document on Emetyan Rodze. And I have a partial translation here. It says he was detained. He traveled to Dubai. What's the criminal facts? What's he accused of having done? He traveled to Dubai for tourism, and then on June 18, 2016, he traveled to Thailand for tourism. By the way, there's a mistake in this slide. He was detained on March 23rd, 2017, not 2018. And in summary, what's the opinion that the police gives? In summary, the suspect, Emetyan Rodze, influenced by religious extremist ideology, traveled to sensitive countries. His illegal and criminal actions violate Article 122 of the criminal law of the PRC, constituting the crime of preparing to carry out terrorist activities, meaning just because he traveled to Thailand and there's no other evidence on him, that's the important thing, there's no other evidence, just because he went to Thailand, he's being charged with the crime of preparing to carry out terrorist activities, meaning the government thinks he might have done something. This is a so-called pre-crime, not an actual crime. And you notice that they added in this 2018 document, they now add the extremism into it. In the earlier document that I showed you, extremism was not mentioned. Okay, so they suspect him of extremism retrospectively. This is another screening document from August 30th about another person, Kerem Yan Abdurrahim. And here, what was his guilt? So when he purchased items, he distinguished between halal and non-halal. And secondly, in 2017, he received a call from Thailand with no further details known. So the mere fact that he received a phone call from Thailand, according to police records, which he may not have initiated this call even, that is listed against him under criminal facts, in a section criminal facts. And then he was detained for re-education. So I could give you more examples, but I just gave you those. So what is this paranoia about? Well, firstly, Uyghurs who travel to sensitive countries are seen generally as a national security threat. And of course, what the government does is preemptive detention, the campaign of mass internment and all these policies, they are preemptive, they're preventive. They're not carefully looking, oh, has a person actually done something? No, it's a suspicion, because the government believes these Uyghurs are easily influenced by religious extremism when they're outside in certain countries, and they bring this extremism back to Xinjiang. Now, I'm going to show you that this threat perception continues. I've given you evidence from 2016, 17, and 18, but Chen Mingur, basically the head of Xinjiang's security apparatus, the Political Legal Affairs Commission, that is the top entity of the domestic security apparatus, the police, the prison system, etc. He said in June 2024, General Secretary Xi Jinping pointed out that it's necessary to, quote, resolutely curb and crack down on the separatist infiltration and sabotage activities carried out by hostile forces at home and abroad using ethnic issues. Xinjiang's political and legal organs insist on coordinating the domestic and international situations, carrying forward the spirit of struggle, daring to fight, and constantly improving the ability and skills to engage in a Xinjiang-related foreign-facing battle. So you have that threat perception, a perception of threat, right, from abroad. Now, he continues to say, maintain an unwavering stance of severe crackdown and high pressure. Now, remember, this is June 2024, right? The Chinese government says Xinjiang is peaceful, there's tourism, there's development, everything is nice. But look what the chief security guy says. He says, maintain an unwavering stance of severe crackdown and high pressure. Precisely strike at terrorist and extremist illegal and criminal activities, resolutely prevent major violent terrorist incidents, ensure that the hard-won stability is not reversed. So there's a strong ongoing paranoia. And then he says deeply advanced de-extremification efforts, that is the re-education, striving to educate and save, that's a term for re-education, those misled by extremist ideology to the greatest extent, ensuring ideological stability, vigorously promote border stabilization and fortification, focusing on enhancing border control capabilities, and guarding against the return of foreign terrorist and extremist forces. So there's a very strong ongoing threat perception here. Okay? This is just from June 2024. So the conclusion, Uyghurs returning from sensitive countries are seen as a threat and are continued to seen as a threat. The documents I've shown you show that they're labeled terrorists and categorized alongside members of the East Turkestan Islamic movement or even the Islamic State in the same category, the 4 types of persons. Uyghurs who went to Thailand or merely received a phone call from Thailand were detained for re-education and sent to re-education camps. Uyghurs returning from sensitive countries were to be arrested first, then screened, and in 2024, senior officials confirm the region still carries out de-extremification, re-education, monitoring hostile forces abroad, and preventing the return of terrorist and extremist forces from abroad. The evidence makes it clear that the refoulement of Uyghurs from Thailand places in direct danger. Now, even though the vocational training centers, as the government has called them, have been closed, waves of arbitrary detention continue, and as Abdul Hakim and also Rushan Abbas have said, many Uyghurs remain disappeared. Also, there continue to be detention waves of Uyghurs. Uyghurs continue to be detained, and we get some of that information from inside the region. There's an intensification of other policies, especially forced labor. The likely scenario, in my opinion, for the Uyghurs from Thailand is they will face a period of detention and intensive interrogation, during which they can always be showcased to journalists. That's no problem, right? You can get them out of the camp or prison for a day and send them to journalists, or you would keep some of them locked up at home and then wait for the Thai government journalists to come, and then you interrogate them later. They are going to be sorted by threat perception. That's what the government prescribes. Some are going to be released into forced labor, and others are going to face continued detention and imprisonment. If you would like to use some of the files I've shown in this presentation, we can please get in touch with me. As long as you attribute the files and state they are from the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, Adrian Zenz, and a link to the website, you can use them for a publication related to the Uyghurs from Thailand. If you have any further questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for giving me much time.
Very, very, very comprehensive presentation. Very, very helpful. Giving a clear idea of what is happening in Xinjiang, and we thank you for that. I'm now going to turn it over to our panelists who are here in the club. Recently, as everyone knows, there was a delegation led by the Minister of Defense and the Minister of Justice from Thailand, who went at the invitation of the Chinese government to Xinjiang. They met with a number of people there. This has also been an issue that came up during the no confidence debate in the parliament just the other day, where the defense minister and an opposition MP got into it over this issue. And so I want to get perspectives from Thailand about how is this impacting what has happened to Thailand, what has happened with Thailand's international reputation after a result of this, and what's going to happen next. So I'm going to ask first Sunai Pasuk from Human Rights Watch to give us some ideas and some of his thoughts, and then we'll turn over to Kun Chalida.
Thanks, Kun Phil. The accounts we just heard are terrifying, and it clearly showed that the recent Xinjiang visit by the Thai government failed to live up to the claims given by Thai authorities as a fact-finding mission. It was not a fact-finding mission. The Thai government basically parroted their propaganda to whitewash crimes committed by Chinese authorities against Uyghurs population in Xinjiang. And it also cover up collaboration between the two governments, Thailand and China, that seem to take root since late last year through the 27th of February, when those 40 Uyghur men were physically put on board on the plane to Xinjiang. Why I said that? First, the Thai government has been lying all along that it has no intention to breach international obligations, to breach Thailand's domestic law, to breach international principle regarding non-refoulement. That means not sending anyone into harm's way. And such promises went up to the highest level of the government. Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra herself made this public promise that Thailand would uphold international domestic obligations and uphold international practice regarding protection of those who could be in danger if they were sent back home. And then we saw what happened on the 27th of February, right? Another point I would like to say here is why I call the Xinjiang visit a failure, a propaganda, a whitewash. Because the gravity of abuses committed by Chinese authorities against Xinjiang, against Uyghur population in Xinjiang, is so severe. It is to the level that the UN Office for Human Rights consider crimes against humanity. Human Rights Watch consider crimes against humanity. But Thai authorities have failed to show due diligence, to verify the situation before they would enter into any agreement regarding returning those Uyghur men back to China. We haven't seen any Thai official visiting Xinjiang prior to the deportation. We haven't seen any evidence showing that, the situation that our colleagues just explained to us have improved. It hasn't shown any evidence to contradict with the finding of Human Rights Watch report, Amnesty International report, and the UN Human Rights Office report regarding crimes against humanity in Xinjiang, which are widespread, systematic, and ongoing. So the failure started even before those 40 Uyghur men were put on the plane. Then we see kind of a barrage of lies after lies coming from the highest level of the Thai government. And the lies continue through public domain, through the media, in the parliament yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and continue until today. And the visit, how many people, how many Uyghurs that Thai delegation actually met of the 45? And look at the size of Xinjiang, about 3 times of Thailand as a country. The coverage of Thai delegation is just a fraction in terms of geographical scale and in terms of number of people that they actually met. And given what our colleagues just explained, Xinjiang is in effect a police state, tightly controlled, tightly surveilled by Chinese authority. Daily behaviors of Uyghurs in Xinjiang have been scripted by Chinese authority. Any diversion from that could be considered as a sign of extremism, which could lead to persecution, very serious persecution. But it seemed clear that, the Deputy Prime Minister of Thailand / Defense Minister, Justice Minister, don't have any knowledge about what happened in Xinjiang prior to their visit. And then they didn't seem to be bothered to press for difficult questions, to press for truth, to press for facts that they ought to seek, that they ought to establish. They basically admit that publicly, that the list of Uyghurs that they would meet during the visit were provided to them by the Chinese ambassador to Bangkok, who of course receive order from Beijing. The questions as well, the place to visit as well. So everything is script. When they were there, they were escorted every step. They bother to bring media, to bring reporters with them. But those media, those Thai media couldn't operate independently. The story was kind of pulled together, that there's kind of central script that every journalist on that trip must follow. Before they send their stories to Bangkok for publication, for reporting, the script was reviewed by Chinese authority. Still photos, footages were also vetted by Chinese authority. So basically, this is a trip that parroted what Chinese authority wanted to communicate. That comes to my point that it is an evidence that Thailand is partner in crime. I'm not going to call it shameful. It has gone beyond that, many levels beyond that. Thailand has become a partner in crimes against Uyghurs by covering up what is happening in Xinjiang. And I want to remind you, next point is that this is not the end of the story. We still have 5 Uyghurs detained in Thailand, in prison, because they tried to break from inhumane immigration detention some years ago, and they are serving prison terms. China demanded that these remaining 5 must be sent back too. And the Thai government already publicly announced that the remaining 5 Uyghurs will be sent back when they finish their prison term. So we must save these people. We must save these remaining 5 Uyghurs, as well as ensuring that those others who were sent already to Xinjiang are safe. And Thailand failed to follow through with its obligation to ensure that people that Thailand sent back to Xinjiang are safe. Twice. The first time, over 100 were sent back by military dictators. This time around, 40 men were sent back by elected government, led by Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, who promised to the Thai Parliament, who promised to the UN General Assembly, who promised to the UN Human Rights Council that Thailand would be a human rights respected country. And Thailand is now a member of UN Human Rights Council. That's why the failure is so glaring, it's blatant, it's unacceptable. And Thailand should bear the consequences of this serious breach of its international obligation. First of all, obligation under customary law regarding non-refoulement, not returning anyone into harm's way, number 1. Number 2, Thailand is a party to Convention Against Torture. Thailand is also a party to Convention Against Enforced Disappearance. Those are at least 3 international treaties that Thailand has violated already because of the forced return of Uyghurs. Then what? There are also legal consequences. There are also legal consequences domestically. Thailand has a law, anti-torture, anti-enforced disappearance law, which has been in effect since 2023. This law explicitly prohibits refoulement, prohibits forcibly return of anyone into a place there where they could be tortured, where they could be forcibly disappeared. And our colleague just explained very high risk of anyone from Thailand, any Uyghurs from Thailand, returning to China, especially forcibly return to China, that could be their fate. So I wish someone would file lawsuit against this administration, would file lawsuit against Thai officials, any of them, every one of them, any and every one of them who were involved in the deportation of Uyghurs in the Thai court, in the Thai criminal court, for violating the law against torture, against enforced disappearance. They need to bear consequences. Thirdly, consequences in terms of Thailand's position in the international community. We saw very strong message coming from the US administration threatening visa restriction. I want to see the list of those who will be put on visa ban as soon as possible. And I hope that this list will go to the highest level of the Thai government, because clearly she has knowledge of the deportation. She admitted herself that she made an agreement when she visited Beijing. And let's not forget that the Prime Minister is also the chairperson of the Thai National Security Council, which is directly and fully responsible for this operation from the beginning. So she cannot deny responsibility at all. So if there are to be any punishment, any punitive action, she needs to receive it too. What else that could be the consequence? Thailand is now in the process of negotiating free trade agreement with the European Union. The framework of cooperation between Thailand and European Union have fundamental elements regarding respect for the rule of law, due process, human rights, and democratic rule. What happened with the case of Uyghur deportation clearly breached elements, fundamental elements regarding respect for human rights, due process, rule of law. I think it is enough, it is sufficient for the European Union to use this as a ground to consider suspension of free trade negotiation with Thailand. And I hope that other countries who express similar concerns when they heard the news about Uyghur deportation, something that they have repeatedly warned Thailand not to do it, and they express their disagreement, they express their condemnation, including at the UN Human Rights Council. They too should follow up by, not as as our colleague said, not just words. We need to see actions from those countries as well. Would they call the Thai ambassador would they call Thai ambassadors in each of their capitals in to receive complaints, to receive protests? Would they receive stronger ultimatum, something more tangible, something more concrete consequences? This is something that should happen. Why? Because without concrete, tangible consequences, punitive action for what happened to those 40 Uyghur men, we cannot save the remaining 5 Uyghur men. We cannot ensure that those who were already sent to China twice, those who were already sent to China will be safe. We would not be guaranteed that Thailand will take all possible means to make sure that China keep its promise. And that promise, there is only one letter. As I said, there has been no prior visit. There has been no scouting before Thailand decided to go ahead with deportation. So now it is obligations of Thailand to have credible follow-up. The first trip already failed. We will have second trip very soon. This time around, the second trip will be led by foreign minister. So let's praise foreign minister. If we have our diplomat colleagues in this room, I'm urging you to call on the Thai foreign minister tomorrow, demanding that his trip going to be better than the trip by defense minister and justice minister. The composition need to be more inclusive. The list of places they will visit need to be determined by the Thai side, not by China, as well as the list of people they will meet. And this is not impossible. They cannot claim that they don't know who those Uyghurs are, because those Uyghurs were locked up in Thai immigration center for 11 years with official record of their face, their name, their profile, their photos, everything. So why don't Thailand just say, hey, we want to meet this time, we want to meet as many as possible. If because of the geographical distance or whatsoever reason, it is not possible. How about let's make the third trip, fourth trip, and make it regular. And we don't need ministers to be there. That's just for photo ops. Thailand has embassy in Beijing. Use the diplomats, the Thai diplomat from Beijing, to go to Xinjiang, say every month, every 2 weeks. Just set the terms by Thailand, not the terms being dictated and being scripted by Beijing. So I'm really hoping that the Thai government will listen to these recommendations that Human Rights Watch has provided. But too bad up till now they dismiss our recommendations. And furthermore, they are now discrediting that. They are discrediting not only Human Rights Watch or Amnesty International, they are discrediting the UN as well, that our reports are old information. Why what they saw was just a fraction in very controlled environment. And I wish that someone would send the transcript of our colleague's presentation to the Foreign Ministry tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Kun Sunai. Some very important food for thought and a number of recommendations. Now we're going to turn to Kun Chalida Tarjun from PEF, who's been working on the Uyghur file for many, many years and has a lot of detailed comments and suggestions. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. I have 7 points concern. The first one is about the government said that these people volunteer to go back to China. We would like the government to prove that these people is also signed with the document that they said that they signed the document to return back to China. The Thai government should also prove that and then show that document to the public for transparency. If they cannot show that, it means that it will be forced deportation. And I agree with Sunai that this kind of the deportation back to China is also crime against humanities. And this will be Thai government and also Chinese government, it should be responsibility on this crime against humanities. And I think that there are some court also can do that. Sunai mentioned about he would like someone to sue Thai government administration on this. The Thai NGO is also trying to do that. Cultural Foundation is also sued one time on the law on torture and also forced disappearance, but the court is also denied. And then Peace and Peace Rights Foundation also sued Thai government again. It is in the process. We don't know that the court will accept or not accept. But however, if we consider this implementation of Chinese and Thai government is a crime, against humanities, there will be another high level of the court. Maybe I'm not so sure that I pronounce correct or not, so now maybe universal jurisdiction. So can you explain about that? That is some kind of the international mechanism, because at the national level we cannot do that anymore. So maybe we can do as a high level, but not ICJ. No, not ICC cannot do, because we did not sign with that ICC.
Yeah, the universal jurisdiction implies that a national court passes a law which actually has extraterritorial implications, and often done in case of human rights. So for instance, in the case of Argentina, recently issued arrest warrants for Min Aung Hlaing and key members of the Myanmar military junta for atrocities against the Rohingya based on evidence that was presented in an Argentine court. And the Argentine law says that if it's a crime against humanity, Argentina can prosecute that case in an Argentine court no matter where it takes place. So that's universal jurisdiction. And that's the principle here is that, that it might be possible to have a prosecution somewhere else in the world.
So, Sunai said that for ICJ and ICC
and
can
this
do that.
is also about, universal crimes, kind of put in short,
yeah.
crimes against humanity is one of the four serious universal crimes, war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, crimes of aggression of the four. So there are countries that respect human rights,
Yeah.
and they allow their law to have extraterritorial jurisdiction. So that's why we can urge countries, say European countries, countries in Latin America or even Africa, there's many of them who respect universal jurisdiction principle. So it might be worth for the Thai NGOs, our Thai NGO friends, to reach out to the embassies in Bangkok just to discuss whether there would be any interest, any traction. Let's begin from that.
They discussed already, and they found that the Thai NGO cannot do that. It should be someone in another country.
No, I mean Thai NGO asked those countries
Yes.
to do it.
Yes.
We asked the Uyghur Congress to do that. You should consider with that, because World Uyghur Congress have many members in different countries. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the first point. The second point is about, Sunai also said that, when they go to China, they deport these 40 people back to China, but just only one family that they show up in the media. And when the Deputy Prime Minister Phumtham went last week, also the same people, the same family again, they cannot show up with the other family. So what it mean? It means that there are just only one family that can show up, and also one family that can also meeting with the families member. Why is the other 40 that we also surprised? And this trip, they can visit just only 5 family. Why is the other 35 family that is also should be show up to all of us? Number 2 that I would like to raise this up, I think that this visits is also proof that Thai and China make wrong or correct decision. Thai and China is lie or not. This is something to prove the process of deportation back. So I think that is very important for the visits to prove that it is correct, it is a good decision or not a bad decision. The third that I would like to bring it up, I think that usually the CSO did not agree with the deportation back. But however, Thai government and Chinese government did that already. So if they have the team to go and visit this family, so it should be inclusive, like Sunai said that they should be included with the UN, SCR, OSHA, some embassy that they interest to participate and join to prove these visits, to prove that Thai and Chinese do not do some things wrong, and they can protect, and all of 40 is safe in China. So this is something that I think that it should be bring to consider at the process of visits. The fourth, that I think that usually 109 people is also was sent back in last 10 years. Why the Thai government did not use this trip also to visit 109 people that they deport back last 10 years to prove that 109 and also 40 deportation back is also safe in China. I think that the visits, it should be include 109 people also.
This is the group that was sent back in 2015. Yeah.
Yes,
So the
the
109
first-
that were sent back. Yeah.
the first deportation. And then the same that Sunai, the media that go with the joy with the Thai government right now is also the media that pick up by the Thai government. There are some media that consult with me that they want to join with this trip. Is possible or not? And I said that it's not possible because they will pick up some media that will be friendly and follow the structures of Chinese and also Thai government. So there are some international media, I don't want to mention the name, that consult with me that how that they can go. And also some of the Uyghur friend, also Uyghur friend that they resettled in the third country already, also consult with me that possible or not for them to join with this trip to prove about the visits and prove the safety of the people. And say I cannot guarantee any safety of you if you want to go to China, because however you hold another passport in another country, but they know that you are the Uyghur. And we also concerned that they still have 7 of Uyghur in Thailand right now, but 2 is a case of the Era 1 bomb. Maybe we will not count them because they are in the court process. But however, 5 of them in the complaint is now very worried that they will be sent back to China. 1 of 5, they cannot eat, they cannot sleep, and now they go to the hospital in the complaint because of the trauma, and very, very scared on that. And the information that I got last few days that right now the complaint, the prison is also said that you cannot send any letter to outside the prison say that you don't want to go to China. If you send that kind of the letter out to outside, to the public, we will not allow you to write any letters. And on 23 of March, you know that right now is Ramadan, no? And at the end of the day, they will have celebrate, eat food together. Chegu Islam Office, Kun Tawee, Sodsong, as a Ministry of Justice, and also Kun Wano as a chairperson of the parliament. He is a Muslim, also visits the jail. But they're not allowed the 5 Uyghur to join with this celebrate, you know. How to say that? It is
Fasting.
They're breaking the fast.
they're breaking the fast.
So
What is
yeah,
it?
so the idea was that you had the senior Thai Muslim representatives going to this to break the fast with the Uyghurs, and the Uyghurs were not allowed
Yeah.
to come to meet
To
the
meet with the people.
the speaker of the parliament and the head of the Islamic office and several others.
But
to
they
break the
allow
fast.
the other Muslim in the prison to join with this.
The other
ceremony.
prisoners were allowed, but not
No,
the
not
Uyghurs.
Uyghur. So this is something that I think that is violate the rights of the Uyghur people and also with the Muslim cultural. No, I think that is very bad. So this is some point that I also raise it up, and I think that I would like to pay attention again to sue the Thai administration to make sure that they will not do again. But however, on the 5 of them in prison is also really need the protections from international communities. Thai government also said many times that no countries that mentioned that they would like to receive these people resettlement in the third country. I think that it is a time for all of the international community to mention and then take the action, not just only talk, but action to the Thai government, say that they will receive 5 of them who remain in the jail to the resettlement in the third country. Any country, please. I think that this is very important for protection of 5 of them that remain in the jail. I thank you.
Okay. Yeah,
Phil.
yeah, please, go ahead.
No, just want to add maybe one more thing. Kun Chalida talk about legal actions in Thailand. There's one more thing that should have been considered. And that is, as she said, and Kun Phil also talk about it, that tomorrow there will be habeas corpus, unlawful detention, reviewed by the Bangkok South Criminal Court. The process of court hearing is not finished yet. But so those Uyghurs are still, within protection of this hearing. But the Thai government violated the judiciary jurisdiction here. Why the court case is still going on? By rounding them up, sending them to China. So that could be another ground for legal action against the Thai government, that they violated the jurisdiction of the court. They show contempt of the court. And this is something that, because the Thai court, they have very thin skin. They are very sensitive. And if they realize that they were challenged in such a blatant way by the Thai government, by the executive branch, we might be able to see some actions from the court as well. So please, file a case.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
we should be observe the trial. What is the
Yeah.
just?
Don't just observe the trial. Raise it with the judge that your
The lawyer should do that.
tell the lawyer to raise it with the judge that the authority jurisdiction of his court was violated by
we
actions
also
of the Thai
mentioned,
government.
we also mentioned at the first when they deport 40 of them back, all of them is in the court process. Why they not respect the court? Why the decision is come from the administration to send them back? They don't care what happened with the court. So what is mean about
Division of
the
state
division of power, no? Parliament, administration, and then court. So it means that the administration is the top of the two power. So it means that the court is nothing. It's useless. Nothing. We cannot respect. They not respect the court process. So it is so bad, and I think that it's very shameful now for Thailand.
Right. Okay. So thank you very much for that expose of a number of issues related to what the situation is in Thailand and what the Thai government did. We're going to open for questions. I'm going to ask that we give preference to working journalists. I know that there's a number of journalists here from the Thai press corps. If they have a question in Thai, I can help translate. And any case, if you have a question, please, well, first of all, state your name and who you represent, and then who you're directing your questions to. Remember, of course, we also have the two experts online who have been waiting patiently as we've discussed the situation here in Thailand. The floor is open, so please go ahead.
Hi, sorry, Phil. Should I do that in Thai and English as well? Because you said
no,
that some
you
Thai
can-
journalists.
No, it's
Seriously.
fine. You can, I mean, you pick the language you want to speak in.
I think that there are some Thai officer here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll
Chun
just-
chun, not that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe speak in Thai so that they will understand. Thai
Okay,
officer
I'll
is
do
here.
it both. Pravit Rojanaprukจากข่าวสด English. Pravit Rojanapruk from ข่าวสด English. So let me just do it in Thai first then. I don't know,
Right.
since Kun Shalita insists. I have 4 or maybe 5, but I'll keep
No,
very brief.
You can't have 4 or 5 questions.
Okay, 3. Let me cut it down to 3.
I mean, because there's going to be other people asking. So, like, give us
3.
combine them to 2.
Oh dear. Okay, which one to choose? Like, give me a minute to decide.
You can come back at the end if you still have more questions.
Okay, let me just get it to the point then. Okay, let me stick to 2. What do you think the government gained? Okay, there's a lot of speculations about what was the deal, why did they do it. คิดว่ารัฐบาลไทยได้รับอะไรในครั้งนี้เพราะว่า the timing was just before the Prime Minister visited Beijing and met with President Xi, okay? That's one. Okay, I'll do the other one, damning one. Okay. Regarding Kun Sunai advised that the Thai embassy in Beijing should engage and perhaps drop by there in Xinjiang twice a month, every fortnight or all that. I mean, how realistic is it given the power of China, okay, which is, everyone knows, the most influential country in Asia, when the fact is Thailand is just a middle power wannabe with very little leverage, not to mention, vis-a-vis China, but look what can or we couldn't do vis-a-vis Myanmar. ก็แปลเป็นภาษาไทยว่าคุณสุนัยเสนอบอกว่าให้ทางสถานทูตไทยที่กรุงปักกิ่งเนี่ยลองไปเยี่ยมดูชาวอุยกูร์สักเป็นระยะนะฮะเดือนละ2 ครั้ง 2 อาทิตย์ครั้งหรืออะไรคำถามผมก็คือว่าเอาข้อจริงข้อเสนออย่างนี้เนี่ยมันเป็นจริงแค่ไหน realistic แค่ไหนเพราะว่าประเทศจีนคือประเทศที่มีอำนาจมากที่สุดในเอเชียแล้วก็ขณะที่ไทยเป็นประเทศระดับกลางนะครับแล้วแม้กระทั่งอำนาจที่จะไปผลักดันหรือบีบให้เผด็จการทหารที่เมียนมาทำอะไรก็ยังแทบจะทำอะไรไม่ได้ขอบคุณครับ
Should I answer in Thai or English?
Why don't you answer in English? I mean,
okay.
And I think we have some people who are doing translation from English to Thai, so it's quite helpful.
So I think kind of my answer to your second question kind of will also answer the first one. That actually it has been officially announced by the government already today that the Thai embassy in Beijing will play a role in following up with future visits after high-level visit at ministerial level. So the first one, defense and justice, second one, foreign minister, and in the future, Thai diplomats from Beijing will take the job. But that's why we want Thailand to at least try, at least show that Thailand has a spine, walk straight, not bowing to the master in Beijing. But because up until now, Thailand is nothing more than a vassal state of China. Given what happened to the Uyghurs, given what happened to the raid against a scam center across Thai-Myanmar border, Thailand has been dictated, has been ordered around, bossed around by Beijing. So show that this is a country that can walk straight and can talk back to the master, not just yes. We'll do whatever you want and we will please you to the extreme. No, that's not. And I like the way Kun Pravit called Thailand as a wannabe middle country because indeed it is a wannabe. In reality, it is no longer in the middle. Thailand has taken a side very clearly with 2 major incidents. The first one is the raid of scam centers across Myanmar border. That's number one. Allowing China to exercise extraterritorial powers in Thailand's sovereignty. That happened once. And now second time for the Uyghurs. Or if you wanted to go back before that, it was under the military rule, which it was military rule. But now we have a civilian elected government which claim to respect democracy, claim to be member of the international committee. But the reality proved the opposite. It is not. So I think I answered. And Thailand has nothing to gain. So kind of, in sum, if you want a quote, Thailand has nothing to gain but everything to lose from collaborating with the crimes against Uyghurs.
I also would like to respond to Pravit's question. Thailand gained some things. Gained to be good relationship with China. And also it means that they choose already that they will stand with China, not American, and also international community, that they give a comment to Thailand, don't deport them back to China. But Thailand choose the stand with China. And Thailand also make shame, as we also mentioned that this kind of the activity, deport them back to China, is also a crime against humanity. And Thai will lose the face in international community. Thailand sit there in the member of Human Rights Council in UN, no? I don't know that Thailand representative in Geneva, what is the feeling about this? When they report and they also play some role in the UN Council. And then many friends in the Geneva and also in international will point to Thailand that you violate the human rights. You cooperate with the crime against humanity with China. So I don't know. I don't know what happened with the representative of Thailand who sit in the international community. That is, we lose the value and also lose the respect from international community. And as Surai also mentioned about maybe EU will use this to claim about the trade with Thailand and also with do some, how to say, EU maybe consider about the trade with Thailand, no, on this issue, use this issue, use this Uyghur, no, to block Thai with the trade with the EU. So I see that Thailand lose many things, just only one gain that they get is to have good relationship with China, only that. The second question that I answer, the second question is about the Thai embassy. I'm not trust the Thai embassy because they are got the demand and also order from Thai government. So they will do something under the demand of the government from Bangkok. They are not independent, so I'm not agree that the embassy in Xinjiang and in Beijing will do independently on monitoring of this group of the Uyghur.
Okay. Next question, please.
Hi, thanks everyone. Appreciate your time. I'm Sally Jensen from the AFP International News Agency. My first question to Adrian Zenz. I appreciate that you shared this information about Thailand being included in a list of sensitive countries that the various provincial governments in Xinjiang consider Thailand as a sensitive country and these other countries. Is there any more recent evidence to show that they still consider Thailand to be a sensitive country? And as Thailand has been considered for quite a while as a fairly safe haven for many Chinese dissidents and exiles, not just from Xinjiang, but from all over China, should they be concerned about these recent deportations? I mean, there are still other Chinese people, dissidents who are held in Thailand's detention system. And I guess also to follow up on the question before, like why now specifically? I mean, this may sound cynical, but of course Thailand and China are celebrating 50 years of relations this year. And as we've seen, China's public security apparatus coming to Thailand to take away these suspected criminals. We don't know if they're criminals, but taking them back. So just again to ask whether, what is the kind of, why now exactly? Why do you think that this is happening at this point in time? Thank you.
Adrian, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So we need to keep in mind that the evidence that specifically mentions Thailand by name is from internal police files. This is not public information. A lot of this material is considered very sensitive. The general policy framing of the threat perception of Uyghurs in diaspora, the Uyghur diaspora, That is not so secret. That has been made public, and we continue to see that kind of language. We continue to see very strong language that Uyghurs, for example, advocating about the internment camps or the atrocity abroad. The Uyghur diaspora organizations, such as the World Uyghur Congress, but even community-based organizations, such as the Uyghur, such as other groups, other Uyghur groups. This threat perception continues, but the specific evidence about Thailand we have only in internal police files. And these files go until the end of 2018. They do not go, they're not more recent. So that answers that question. But I think it's very important, and you have to understand that all the evidence, for example, on the mass internments and other things was ultimately brought out through policy analysis, an investigative form of policy analysis, and much of which I performed myself back in the day. And to understand the current situation, we continue to use the same methodology. And this methodology continues to tell us that the threat perception is the same, even though we don't have very recent internal documents that say, oh, Thailand still is a threat. We have to extrapolate this. The second question would be, why now? And from what I see, is if you look at the speeches of Xi Jinping, for example, in 2022 and in 2023, also during his surprise visit to Xinjiang, there's a very strong perception of risk, internal and external. And during the latter part of zero COVID and then with the sudden abandonment of zero COVID, we see a lot of the risk language and a lot of paranoia resurfacing. And I believe that, from these statements, which are not secret, they are public, and from the statements by Xinjiang's officials, it is evident that the Chinese government is doubling down on trying to win the international battle for opinion. Now, having Uyghurs abroad, such as in detention in Thailand, that have not been returned, that are part of an ongoing debate, ongoing narratives and discourses at the United Nations, that's a continual public relations risk. But we have to understand, for the Chinese Communist Party, this is not just a public relations risk. This is actually seen as a national security threat. Because why? Because it could influence domestic opinion in China. Because there are critical voices, and they are seen as a threat to national security. And the Chinese government has been pushing harder to eliminate these national security risks. And so we can be certain that the pressure on the Thai government has been increasing over time. And so, of course, using symbolic moments, that's a big thing also in Chinese culture, such as an anniversary as the one you mentioned, and so on. But I think we need to contextualize this in this intensified context where Xi Jinping himself spoke about the need to tell the China story well and to counter the extremist forces abroad. And I think in this context, the Thai government had a lot to lose by not acquiescing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas what did they have to lose from the UN and from the United States, right? And from the West?
Yes.
Ultimately, we've been very weak compared to Xi Jinping.
Yeah.
I would like to respond also on this issue. I think that on 2014 there is the group of Uyghurs that came to Thailand, right? So that the announcement of the Chinese police may be because of that a group of the Uyghurs that came to Thailand, for more than 400 of them, and they remain here until right now. So maybe it's come from that situation. I'm not so sure. But why? It is similar the year 2014, 2015 at that time.
Yeah, you had what you had is that large group that was detained, and a number were allowed to go to Turkey, and a number were sent back to China.
So that's why Thailand is in the backlist of China.
Yeah. I mean, I would just add one thing that hasn't really been discussed. We don't have a representative from UNHCR here, but all the remaining Uyghurs, these 40 Uyghurs, had all sent missives to UNHCR requesting access to UNHCR for refugee status determination. And Thailand refused to allow UNHCR to have access to these men at any time. And so Thailand, claiming that no one wanted to take them as refugees, ignores the fact that Thailand wouldn't allow the UN Refugee Agency to do the necessary determination to determine that, in fact, they were refugees and then eligible for third country resettlement. So, it was a chicken and egg game.
And one more thing to add to that is non-refoulement principle protect everyone regardless of their status. Non-refoulement principle protects everyone regardless of their immigration status, whether they enter the country legally or illegally, whether they have refugee status or not. Non-refoulement principle protect everyone, including those wanted for extradition. Before Thailand extradite them, they should be reviewed whether they would be in danger regarding non-refoulement principle. So this is yet another lie coming from the Thai government, trying to spin it around that they don't have refugee status, but the fact is Thailand did not allow UNHCR to screen them.
Yeah.
And then second lie in this, regarding this question, second lie is because they entered Thailand illegally, so Thailand had to return them to the country of their origin, that is China, without saying that the need to review rigorously for non-refoulement.
And this also linked with the third countries, because the process of the third country who will receive resettlement project, it should be get approved by UNHCR as a POC, people concerned of UNHCR, and then the third country can consider them to resettlement in the third country. In case that they have no chance to meet with UNHCR, how that they can get the POC, people concerned of UNHCR, and start with resettlement in the third country. So this is something that I think that is tricky of Thailand for resettlement of the Uyghur in the third countries. And they mentioned many times, the Deputy Prime Minister said that no country that accept them because they are in the process, you not allow them to be in the process of resettlement. The world should know about this. It is not mean that the third country not want to receive them. Many countries want to receive, but however, there are some process on the resettlement.
Okay. Hold on, I mean, there's another, you have to, we'll get to you, Prawit, but you can't ask all the questions right up front.
สวัสดีค่ะ
You gotta share it around a bit.
ขออนุญาตถามเป็นภาษาไทยนะคะ
ได้เลย
กนกวรรณเกิดพลานันท์จากกรุงเทพธุรกิจค่ะ ตอนนี้ 40 คนกับ 109 คนนั้นส่งไปแล้วนะคะ ขอโฟกัสอยู่ที่ 5 คนที่ยังอยู่ในเมืองไทยนะคะอยากทราบว่า 5 คนเนี้ยกระบวนการของเขาคืออย่างนี้ใช่ไหมคะ ต้องโทษที่คือต้องรับโทษที่ทำผิดในเรื่องหนีจากศูนย์กักกันใช่ไหมคะต้องรับโทษ แล้วก็พอรับโทษครบแล้วก็คือยังไงคะคืออันเนี้ยค่ะคือค่ะเลยสงสัยว่าขณะนี้5คนที่เหลือเนี่ยมีประเทศไหนที่ติดต่อรับว่า5คนเนี้ยฉันเอากลับไปนะคะเพื่อจะได้ไม่ให้เกิดเหตุการณ์ซ้ำรอย109 บวก 40นั่นอีกนะคะมีหรือยังถ้ามีขอแบบบอกชื่อได้ไหมว่าอะไรเพราะว่าคือเราสามารถพูดลอยๆได้อะทุกคนทุกฝ่ายพูดบอกว่าประเทศนั้นจะรับรัฐบาลก็บอกว่าไม่มีประเทศไหนรับอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะคะหลักฐานตรงนี้มันต้องมีนะคะแล้วก็ในเรื่องของการลงโทษที่ประเทศไทยร่วมมือกับจีนในการก่ออาชญากรรมกับชาวอุยกูร์คือพวกเราไม่เห็นด้วยกับการที่ส่งอุยกูร์กลับอันนี้ค่ะแต่ว่าบังเอิญวันก่อนอ่านข่าวจากรอยเตอร์นะคะทราบมาว่าทาง EU เนี่ยกำลังจะเชิญประธานาธิบดีสีจิ้นผิงไปร่วมเฉลิมฉลองในวาระ50 ปีความสัมพันธ์ EU จีนเหมือนไทยเลยนะคะแต่ว่าสีจิ้นผิงเนี่ยปฏิเสธข่าวนี้มาจากแหล่งข่าวนะคะยังไม่ได้เป็นแถลงการอย่างทางการแต่สีจิ้นผิงปฏิเสธคนที่จะไปคือนายกหลี่เฉียงแล้วก็หลี่เฉียงเนี่ยเขาก็จะไปพบกับสภา EU ด้วยรัฐสภา EU ซึ่งเพิ่งออกแถลงการประณามไทย ค่ะรัฐสภา EU เนี่ยเขาเมื่อเดือนตุลาคมปี 67เขาได้ออกแถลงการประณามจีนในเรื่องอุยกูร์แล้วก็ประณามไทยเมื่อไม่กี่วันก่อนนะคะแต่ว่าทำไมล่ะคะทำไมเขาถึงอยากจะที่จะทำการค้าขายอยู่อยากที่จะพบกับประธานาธิบดีสีจิ้นผิงอีกแล้วอย่างนี้มันเกิดอะไรขึ้นไทยเราก็ไทยเราเกี่ยวอะไรด้วยวะอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแล้วก็แบบว่ามีการเรียกร้องให้บล็อกการค้าบล็อกการเจรจาการค้าแต่ในขณะที่มหาอำนาจเขายังเขาดีกันนะคะทรัมป์ก็เหมือนกันเชื่อเถอะว่าทรัมป์ก็ยังอยากจะดีลกับจีนนะคะอันนี้ขอถามในฐานะคนไทยค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
Okay. ตอบภาษาไทยมั้ยล่ะ
I can do both.
Well, no, I mean, so one of the questions was like, what about the remaining 5 Uyghurs? What is their situation? What's going to happen to them next? Is there a third country that's prepared to accept them? What's going to happen? And then the second question was talking about the whole relationship between Thailand and the EU and the connection to the potential trade treaty.
For the first question, we really fear that what will happen to them will repeat what happened already to those 40 Uyghurs men who were sent back. That is, Thailand denied them access to UNHCR. Thailand denied them access to foreign embassies in Bangkok. So they have no chance to be determined about their status. They have no chance to get access to resettlement referral system. So if there is anyone to blame the Thai government, blame the government of Pathongthan Shinawat for locking the Uyghurs up, throwing away the key, and waiting for their time is up with their prison sentence, then put them on the plane again to Xinjiang. Kun Chalida just told us then, I think you remember what Kun Chalida said, that even to break fast, Ramadan fast, they were not allowed to participate with the rest of the inmates. And you know what Khong Prem is? Khong Prem is a maximum security prison. These Uyghurs are kept in maximum security prison. And who went to break fast with Muslim inmates in this prison? Justice Minister. Even Justice Minister could not see the 5 Uyghurs. So you can pretty much guess
He
their
don't want
fate.
to. He don't want to meet with them.
And this is, let me finish.
They don't want to meet with
Just let me finish, Kun Chalida, okay?
Sorry.
You can't keep interrupting people, okay? So what we see now is that, history is likely to repeat itself with the 5 Uyghur men. That's why I'm begging for concrete measures to be taken before their time is up. We are talking about 2 to 4 years from now. And the Thai government can appear to be generous by shortening their prison term. And it happened before. So for good behavior, for many important events in Thailand that could result in shortening of prison terms. That's why this is quite urgent to save the 5 remaining Uyghurs, whatever possible means. The second one, I think we are barking at the wrong tree. We are talking about wrongdoings committed by Thailand. And you are going to let Thailand walk free from this wrongdoing because there are existing exchanges of, trade and diplomatic relations between Western countries and China. These are kind of 2 different things. You are talking about 2 different things. Thailand did something wrong and should pay the price for that. Let's not try to argue Thailand out of this very tight spot, okay? I'm not saying that there is no hypocrisy in international relations. It exists. It has been in existence for forever, and that's the reality. But another reality right in front of us is Thailand did something seriously wrong and has to pay the price.
Yes.
Yeah.
ไม่ต้องต่อไป พี่คิดว่าเมื่อกี้พี่ตอบไปแล้วนะว่ากระบวนการในการที่จะ resettlement ในประเทศที่3เนี่ยมันจะต้องผ่านการ approve ของ UNHCR ก่อนแต่อุยกูร์ไม่ได้รับการอนุญาตให้พบกับ UNHCR เลยเพราะฉะนั้นการเริ่มต้นของกระบวนการในการที่จะไป resettlement ในประเทศที่3จึงไม่เกิดขึ้นกับอุยกูร์ทีนี้พอคุณถามว่ามีประเทศไหนที่รับบ้างเนี่ยพี่ไม่ได้ยินกับหูตัวเองแต่เราอยู่ในตรงกรรมาธิการนะคะตรงสวแล้วก็กรรมาธิการของสส2กรรมาธิการ3กรรมาธิการซึ่งก็มีการพิจารณาแล้วก็มีการตั้งคำถามนี้กับกระทรวงการต่างประเทศกระทรวงการต่างประเทศก็ยืนยันว่า มีประเทศที่พร้อมจะรับอุยกูร์แต่ไม่ขอพูดในที่สาธารณะขอพูดข้างหลังกับท่านประธานเองเพราะฉะนั้นเราไม่ได้ยินกับหูเราไม่กล้ายืนยันว่ามีประเทศไหนบ้างแต่ยืนยันว่ามีประเทศที่พร้อมจะรับอุยกูร์เพราะฉะนั้นคุณต้องไปถาม ท่านประธานอะไรนะอังคณากับใครอีกคนนึงอะกมลศักดิ์
ของกมลศักดิ์
ไปถามกมลศักดิ์กับ
ส
อังค
ส
ณา
สกมลศักดิ์แล้วก็สวอังคณา
อังคณาไปถามดูว่าตกลงมีประเทศไหนบ้างเพราะว่าเขาพูดกันกับท่านประธานเขาไม่ได้พูดกับเราเขาไม่พูดกับ Public กระทรวงการต่างประเทศไม่กล้าชื่อค่ะแล้วถ้าพูดถึงเรื่องการเจรจาขอโทษเมื่อกี้คุณก็บอกเองก็ไปคุยกับจีนก็ไม่ได้คุยกับไทยเขาต้องการทำการค้ากับจีนไทยเนี่ยจะถูกเบรกการทำการค้ากับ EU กับประเทศในยุโรปกับประเทศอื่นๆเพราะกรณีนี้ค่ะ
I just want to add that I just want to add to what Kun Chariya just told you about the testimonies given by Thai Foreign Ministry official and national security officials to the House committee and the Senate committees. I happened to be in the committee as well on that day. Apart from saying that there were countries expressed their intent to receive Uyghurs, which those officials couldn't say it publicly. They only told the chairpersons of the two of the House and the Senate committee. But they, one of them, National Security Council official, admitted that there were countries that expressed their interest to receive Uyghurs for resettlement, but Thailand could not agree out of fear that it would undermine friendship with China. That was admitted during parliamentary hearing, and it is on the record. So let us kind of come to Thailand fear. Thailand is afraid of China.
Okay. Kun Pawit, Chen.
Yeah, back for the other two questions I should have. Kun Sunai and Kun Charita, what's the likelihood of seeing some NGOs or even Thai activists calling on some of these Western embassies, okay? You just refer to the minutes of the meeting within, I think that's one of the House committee, which cited the name. I think Sweden and the US were, mentioned in that minutes of meeting as the embassies expressing willingness to, accept the Uyghurs for, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but so how likely is it that we probably could see you or some activists in front of, say, the Swedish embassy, calling him to very publicly state that they're willing to enter this process to consider taking the 5 detainees who are still in Thailand, all right? That's the first. ก็คือคำถามว่ามีความเป็นไปได้แค่ไหนที่จะเห็น NGO นะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นคุณสุนัยหรือคุณชลิดาออกมาเรียกร้องให้สถานทูตบางประเทศในตะวันตกซึ่งออกมาเป็นข่าวบ้างนะครับมีข่าวมาอย่างเช่นว่าสวีเดนหรืออเมริกาสถานทูตสวีเดนหรืออเมริกาพร้อมที่จะหรือได้ติดต่อทางกระทรวงการต่างประเทศไทยรัฐบาลไทยที่จะรับคนชาวอุยกูร์ไปที่พูดถึงเหลืออยู่5 คนเนี่ยมีความเป็นไปได้ไหมเพราะว่าเถียงกันทุกวันนี้ไม่มีใบเสร็จนะฮะสิ่งที่อยากจะเห็นก็คือว่าสถานทูตเขาจะกล้าไหมของประเทศเหล่านั้นบอกว่าโอเคเราพร้อมที่จะเข้าสู่กระบวนการนี้ถ้ารัฐบาลไทยเปิดกว้างอันนี้คำถามแรกอันที่2 second specifically to Kun Sunai and let me be a devil's advocate here you've been accused or branded by some as unpatriotic well the rationale is that look Thailand is a small country what we're doing here is just going to be not only not beneficial, but counterproductive to Thailand's trade with China. And on top of that, they said, look, these 40 people, it wasn't like they had a good time staying in Airbnb for the past 11 years. And we have heard little about them, but now they're being sent back to China. So probably that's the price that the Thai government and the Thai society should absorb. Are you an unpatriotic person as alleged on social media? คำที่สองคือคุณสุนัยถูกกล่าวหาเป็นพวกหมายรักชาติหรือแม้กระทั่งต่อต้านประเทศไทยเพราะว่าสนับสนุนหรือเรียกร้องเพื่อสิทธิ์ของชาวอุยกูร์นะครับหลายคนบอกว่าเนี่ยชาวอุยกูร์อยู่ในเรือนจำตมมา11 ปีแล้วไม่ใช่อยู่อย่างสุขสบายเพราะฉะนั้นเขาก็กลับไปก็น่าจะดีกว่าหรือเปล่าและอย่างไรก็ตามไทยเป็นประเทศเล็กแทบจะไม่มีทางเลือกหรือไม่และสิ่งที่คนอย่างคุณสุนัยพูดอยู่ก็นำมาสู่ปัญหาในการค้าขายหรือความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างไทยกับจีนซึ่งจีนเป็นประเทศคู่ค้าที่สำคัญขอบคุณครับ
those are valid questions. To begin with, I don't believe in nation. I believe in values. I believe in principles. And if Thailand considers itself a small country, it should be a small country that have principle. It shouldn't be a small and rogue and lawless country. Too bad this government is putting Thailand in that position. So it is small and it lacks dignity. It cannot be considered as a good member of the international community even, you know. So that's to begin with. So I want Thailand and everyone who call themselves Thai to chin up and kind of, you know, have some pride in ourselves that even though we are a small country, we don't have much powers, we don't have many leverages, but we respect human rights. We respect universal values. What happened to these 40 Uyghurs? Just put Thailand in this kind of a pit of shame, a pit of collaboration in crimes. Unacceptable. And kind of back to your first question, that actually these two are related. This Thai government, this current Thai government, I'm very disappointed with them, you know, that they've been playing with words. They know fully well, especially as I said, the Prime Minister herself, by her position, she chaired the National Security Council, which supervised specifically the case of Uyghur at immigration detention. Uyghur is the only group in immigration detention supervised directly and exclusively by National Security Council. So the PM must have full knowledge what happened to them then and what will happen to the remaining 5. So about what happened to them then, negotiation and communications between foreign capitals and their embassies in Bangkok regarding possibility to receive them happened. It happened since 2014, 2015, and continue to happen. But Thailand never allowed negotiation to reach the point of formalization. And now, if you kind of trace back remarks by the 3 ministers, so Justice, Defense, Foreign Minister, they all play with words that no country wanted to receive these Uyghurs. But when they were pressed by journalists, they kind of cough up a little bit more, saying that there were no formal intent. Only China sent formal letter requesting for return of Uyghurs. But why there were no letters from other countries who would be possible for resettlement? Because Thailand did not allow negotiation to reach that point. Just similar to Thailand denial of their access to UNHCR screening process to have refugee status. So don't blame foreigners. Don't blame foreign governments for failing to act. Blame the Thai authorities for being brutal after all these years since 2014 up until now. The brutality is just unspeakable. I couldn't believe that, they locked the Uyghurs up from the beginning in 2014. How many of them died in detention? 5 died in detention because of poor health, lack of medication. They were kept in cell, unlike other detainees. I think many of you might have visited Suan Plu. You could see people get in and out, except the Uyghurs. They treated just exceptionally. But if Thai authority allow them to be resettled somewhere else, they would not end up, like Kun Pravit said, they've been locked up 11 years, right? That's an avoidable scenario. It should have been avoided. If Thailand allowed them to have access to HCR, if Thailand allowed them to have access to resettlement referral, but Thailand did not allow that to happen out of fear. It would upset China. Why I said that? Because Thailand first allowed a group of women and children, Uyghur women and children, to go to Turkey. And then China screamed at Thailand, and Thailand stopped that resettlement and instead diverted the destination to China instead, and that's what happened under Prayut military junta. And now the Pathongtan government repeated the same mistake.
I respond in Thai now because it will be the same point that Kun Sunai raised in English. The first one is about the ขอโทษ คำถามที่หนึ่งเนี่ยเกี่ยวกับเรื่องบันทึกการประชุมของกรรมาธิการน่ะอันที่เราพูดถึงประเทศที่3เนี่ยมันจะไม่ถูกบันทึกเอาไว้ในการประชุมเพราะว่ามันเป็นการคุยกันระหว่างท่านประธานกับกระทรวงการต่างประเทศเพราะงั้นในบันทึกการประชุมจะไม่มีที่จะอ้างถึงนะทีนี้พวกเราเนี่ยทำอะไรบ้างจำได้ว่าที่นี่ที่เราพูดกันเมื่อวันที่22 มกราคมก่อนที่จะมีการส่งอุยกูร์40 คนกลับไปเนี่ยเราก็พูดถึงแล้วว่าทางออกที่ดีที่สุด ที่ดีที่สุดของประเทศไทยเนี่ย ก็คือการยอมให้อุยกูร์ทั้ง40 คนเนี่ยไป resettlement ในประเทศที่3นะแล้วก็มีหลายประเทศพร้อมที่จะรับถ้ารัฐบาลไทยอนุญาตแต่ตอนนี้มันติดกระบวนการอยู่หลายกระบวนการอย่างที่เราอธิบายให้คุณฟังนะเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยมันไม่มีการเริ่มต้นจากไทยที่มีความเขาเรียกอะไร willing diplomacy willing เนาะความสมัครใจหรือความตั้งใจในการที่จะให้คนเหล่านี้ไปตั้งรกรากในประเทศที่3แล้วก็อาจจะบอกว่ายินดีถ้าประเทศไหนจะรับขอให้ทำเรื่องเข้ามาอย่างเงี้ยก็ไม่พูดก็เป็นลักษณะของการที่ทำอ้างแล้วก็มีลักษณะของการที่ไม่ยอมให้มีกระบวนการ process มันเริ่มต้นอย่างเป็นทางการนะคะทีนี้ถ้าจะถามว่าเราทำไหมเราพูดกับตั้งหลายประเทศเราก็บอกให้คุณพูดหน่อยคุณส่งเสียงหน่อยคุณนั่นหน่อยเขาก็บอกทำอยู่แต่แบบดิปโลแมตนะก็จะพูดแบบดิปโลแมตอะมันไม่ฟันธงแบบจีนอะของจีนนี่ฟันธงมันส่งเอกสารมาเป็นปึกๆอย่างเงี้ยแต่ประเทศอื่นเขาก็จะสุภาพแล้วค่อยคุยแบบข้างหลังรับหลังมันไม่คุยข้างหน้าอันนี้หลายประเทศนะที่คุยกับเราเขาก็บอกว่าเขาคุยอยู่แต่คุยเงียบคุยรับหลังนะคะส่วนอันที่คุณบอกว่าจุดยืนเนี่ยเราเห็นด้วยกับสุนัยทั้งหมดจุดยืนของพวกเราที่เป็นนักสิทธิมนุษยชนแล้วก็มีความเป็นมนุษย์เนี่ยมีความเป็นคนเนี่ยจะยืนอยู่บนหลักสิทธิมนุษยชนจะยืนอยู่บนหลักความปลอดภัยของชีวิตนะคะเพราะทุกชีวิตมีความมั่นคงและก็ปลอดภัยพอสมควรต้องปลอดภัยและมีคุณค่าในการที่จะมีชีวิตอยู่ไม่ใช่ถูกใครคนใดคนหนึ่ง ตัดสินว่าคุณจะต้องไป ไปตายไปติดคุกไปจำคุกโดยที่ ไม่มีค่านิยมที่เป็นที่ยอมรับได้ของ international แล้วก็ไทยก็พูดกระทรวงการต่างประเทศพูดในกรรมาธิการทุกชุดว่าเรารับฟังเสียงจากเพื่อนประชาคมโลกแล้วเราจะยืนยันตามพันธกรณีของสากลนะที่จะไม่ส่งคนเหล่านี้กับพูดทุกกรรมาธิการแต่เราก็อาจจะเห็นใจว่าจะเป็นเจ้าหน้าที่ที่พูดอย่างนั้นแต่การตัดสินใจมาจากรัฐเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยคนที่ผิดคือรัฐคือ3 คนนั่นแหละคือคุณแพทองธารเนาะคุณภูมิธรรมแล้วก็คุณทักษิณ3 คนนี่แหละคือคนที่ตัดสินใจและเป็นคนที่จะต้องรับผิดชอบค่ะ
Okay. We're coming toward the end of this I see we have one more question in the audience. For our speakers online, I just want to let you know that we have a lot of Thai journalists here in the audience today, which is why you're getting a number of questions coming in Thai, which involve a lot of sort of blaming of the various elements of the parts of the Thai government for what they did or didn't do. In any case, one last question, and then we're going to have a few quick final statements, and that will be that. So please identify yourself, Chen.
Okay, hi, so my name is Didi. I'm from Thai PBS World, which is an English news service by Thai PBS. So actually, I have like 2 questions. Can I have like 2 questions? Please?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Okay, so the first question is, what implications does it carry for Thailand from now on? And the second one is, how will Thailand be seen among internationals from now?
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
the first question was what again?
Is what implications?
What implication?
Yes,
Okay.
does it carry
And how will
Thailand?
Thailand be seen in the international community?
Exactly. Thank
Okay.
you.
So I'm going to ask, first of all, our online speakers to answer those questions. What is the implications for Thailand of this action sending the 40 Uyghurs back? And how will Thailand be seen in the international community going forward because of this? And I open the floor to both of you.
Thank you. I'll briefly start. I think this is just a very shocking act, and as we saw, Thailand really had options to the weakest. I think as a result, Thailand is going to be seen to be much more closely aligned with Beijing. This clearly was a step to placate the Chinese government, violating Thai law and international law and principles. At the same time, I think it also demonstrates to the Western community that not enough has been done. Chinese influence in Southeast Asia or Asia in general remains dominant. American and European efforts to try to meaningfully increase their influence in the region have fallen short. And of course, a long-standing criticism of, for example, American or the Biden administration's policy in Southeast Asia is that a lot of it was around security, national security diplomacy, but really came up short in terms of meaningful economic collaboration, meaning the US was not willing to grant meaningful access to its domestic economy, basically privileging forms of protectionism. So not granting that as a meaningful sort of bargaining chip in increasing its influence. I think this sends a very strong message. It sends also a very strong message how weak the international human rights system is, the multilateral system, the UN human rights system in Geneva. And of course, the UN agency has been heavily criticized also for lacking to act. But in sum, I think we can say this just shows the success of China's strategy, the influence of Beijing's control. It shifts perception of Thailand. Thailand, I think there was at least a mixed positive hope that Thailand is a country that does respect democracy, human rights, and so on. And I think that perception certainly has shifted toward the negative. Concrete fallout from this, of course, we have the US sanctions on Thai officials, but further concrete fallout from this fateful decision of the Thai government remains to be seen. I'm not sure that Europe is going to have much of a meaningful reaction, to be honest.
Thank you. Abdul Hakim, would you like to say something?
Yes, I want to add a couple of points to what Dr. Zen said. You know, the China focusing to bring its neighbor under control. For example, in Central Asia, the Tajikistan become very close to China right now. Even Chinese Iron Dome installed in Tajikistan. And nobody can, you know, from our country, from East Turkestan, to flee to Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, or Tajikistan, or Afghanistan. Imagine that we are neighboring to those Muslim countries, right? The Uyghurs were not able to flee there, and then they went, you know, to Thailand. This is the situation. And second is Pakistan. Pakistan is like an active member in the Muslim country. Pakistan become China's foreign policy very close partner. And through the Pakistan, the China taking control of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in the Middle East, in the North African MENA regions. And through this, the deport of 40 Uyghurs from Thailand to China recently, China actually, seeking to influence ASEAN countries. It's not like a shame on Thailand, but it's a shame on Malaysia, Indonesia. Those countries are member of the ASEAN organization. So bringing them to China. I think that Thailand face to become like a Pakistan, Tajikistan, or North Korea, so close to China. I think this is the consequence for the Thai population, and they should take a serious situation. And as a Uyghur, I will tell unfortunately, Thailand become complicit in this genocide. It's personal for me as a Uyghurs too, and almost 109 and the 40, and right now we have 5 Uyghurs still there, uncertain. And then Thailand used by the Chinese Communist government as a tool to cover up this genocide. Yeah, everything's fine in Xinjiang, so-called Xinjiang. We went there, we visited them there. Most of those people are from Hotan, where I come from, in the southern part of the so-called Xinjiang region. Those area is complete closed. Nobody can communicate. Despite, the tens of thousands of people in diaspora, we are not still, most of the Turkey, cannot communicate with their family. There's closed. So I think this is very tragic, but still the Thai population has the chance, to take its government accountable. And I agree one recommendation before, the Thai embassy and the Thai independent journalists should have access to visit them regularly. All the people, they deported there. Thank you.
Thank you. Our panelists here, you have any more comments on that? ผลกระทบอะไรไทยมีอะไรบ้างนะ
พูดไปหมดแล้วนะ
โอเค
พูดไปหมดแล้วนะว่าเราไทยจะอยู่ยังไงในประชาคมโลกก็พูดไปแล้วแหละไอ้ implementation ก็เราก็พูดกันไปหมดแล้ว
I will, in closing, I will note we've talked about these 5 remaining Uyghurs who are currently in Klong Prem prison. The reason they're in Klong Prem prison is because they destroyed state property, like a CCTV camera system, when they were escaping from the immigration detention facility in Mukdahan. And when they escaped from Mukdahan, they were chased down by the immigration. The ones who escaped, they were all recaptured. They were all beaten unconscious by immigration at the time, and then dragged off to court and sentenced, I think it was to 6 years in prison or something like that, or maybe a little bit longer, but quite a long prison sentence for destroying state property. And people who were able to get access to them asked them how they were doing in the Mukdahan prison at that time. And actually they responded that, well, we're doing okay because actually the conditions in prison are better than the conditions we face in the immigration detention center. Yeah. And I would say that the conditions they face in Klong Prem prison are probably better than what the Uyghurs were held in the IDC for 11 years in Sun Plu and other parts of the immigration detention systems. So when you hear about people saying, oh, well, we treated them so well, but we had to let them finally go back to their country. No. These guys were put through hell on earth. And the remaining 5 are still trying to fight for their opportunity to reunite with their families, mostly who are resettled to Turkey. So on that, I will close to say thank you very much to our panelists from overseas. Thank you very much for our panelists in-house. We did, again, let me be very clear. We invited the Thai government, we invited multiple agencies that were engaged in this effort to come and give their side of the story. They all declined to do so. So we'll leave it there. Thank you again for coming to the Foreign Correspondents Club of Thailand. Tomorrow night is Burma movie night. Please come again tomorrow and next week to hear about the fate of RFA and VOA next Wednesday. Thank you again, and good night from the Foreign Correspondents Club of Thailand.
Thank you, and I'm also happy to follow up individually with
Yeah.
anyone interested. I can share my contact details.
Okay, yes, we will do so. So if anybody wants contacts or the copy of the PowerPoint, they can come see me and give me your card, and I can help out with that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And good night, or good morning.
เป็นข้อมูลที่เรียกว่าดิ้นไม่หลุดเลย